Hi there guys, my name's John from ActiveGeo.com, and in this video I'm taking you through a full review of the Soma smart shades. The Soma Smart Shades is an interesting product, and I'll be reviewing two pieces of hardware that you can buy from the company. First of all, the Soma Smart Shades, which is a device that converts your existing shades, and this supports blinds up to 5 kilograms, 2 meter wide and 2 meter drop. Now they work over Bluetooth using an app which can be downloaded for a Android phone or iOS, and it also comes with a solar charging module. I'll also be reviewing the Soma Connect, which is the hardware which you need if you want to connect it to, say, Alexa, Google Home, or HomeKit. Now, this is in fact a Raspberry Pi, which is got custom software built, and this is certainly useful for a startup such as Soma to use a Raspberry Pi in order to build a custom software in order to get the product to market quickly. And now, before we get started, if you want to subscribe to the channel, it would be greatly appreciated. And also, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up because it really helps this channel out. And also, if you've got a question or a comment or something you're not unsure on, then leave it in the comment section below and I will get back to you. So thanks very much. Let's get into the video. Now, starting with the design, and let's talk through the actual contents in the box. First of all, you get the module itself that you stick onto the wall and feed the beads into. This operates your existing blinds and moves them up and down. You also get a USB charging cable if there's a power source nearby. You also get this useful solar charging plate which you stick onto your window, which provides a power source to the device. Now, the Soma Smart Shades support a variety of different beads and endless loop types for different blinds and shades. Now, you can check out the website to get the various different compatibility options. Now, moving on to the Soma Connect, inside the box, it's a little bit different. You get some straw, which they've used to package the device, which is quite interesting. But you get the Soma Connect and you get various different cables. As I've already said, this is an actual Raspberry Pi inside a case. So there is some ports around the device which could confuse some customers because you don't actually need to plug anything in other than the power source. I just want to point out you don't need to use the Soma Connect in order to use the Soma Smart Shades. You can use the Soma Smart Shades on their own with an app from the various different app stores and use these over Bluetooth. You only need the Soma Connect if you want to use it with Google Home, Alexa and HomeKit. And for the benefit of this review, I will be doing everything through HomeKit and showing you how to use it. Now, setup for the Soma Smart Shades device is really simple and I found it very easy to do. At first, you connect it to a power source, then you download the app, which is oddly called Smart Shades in the app stores. Once you've got the app connected to the device, you then feed in the beads. And again, I was surprised how easy this was to do. You then stick it to the wall, either with the sticky pads or you can use screws. Now, I used the sticky pads and I was very surprised at how well this held. Now, one tip when you're setting it up, make sure the beads are taut and there is no slack in them, because then it will work better. Once it's all set up, you then follow the setup process. You need to do a bit of calibration in order to set the different lengths, and then once everything's done, it's all set up. That simple and really easy to do. And now if you want to connect it to other phones in our house or iPads or whatever you want to do, you do need to follow the setup process for each device. It doesn't automatically spread out to other devices, but if you're using it with HomeKit, which I'll talk later in the video about, it does connect to other devices automatically. Now, setting up the Soma Connect is again pretty straightforward. All you do is you simply plug it in and then you use the app to find the Soma Connect. You add your Wi-Fi details and then everything's set up. Adding it to HomeKit is a little bit different because it's not officially supported. So I do want to point that out, but it still connects nevertheless. Now, setting up in HomeKit is exactly the same as any other device. You just follow all the steps and get it all set up. And now I want to report very early on in this review, despite it not being officially supported, it works really well. And throughout the review period, I had no issues with random disconnections with this device. Now, moving on to using the smart blinds. First of all, looking at the app. The app itself is very bare bones. You've got the middle bit which has got a blind graphic. Now this changes depending on the time of day to a day or night scene. You move this to move the blinds up or down, and you can set them all the way to the bottom or all the way to the top, or set them to certain lengths depending on your preference. You've got various different settings to set various different things along with triggers. Now speaking of those triggers and automations, these are only time-based, so you only can use them to set things at a certain time of day. So in a morning, for instance, you can set them to raise, and in the evening you can set them to lower. Now, while for most people these might be useful, if you want more control over them, then you're going to be disappointed. For instance, if you want to set them to, say, sunset and sunrise, you'd have to change it throughout the year as the times change. So hopefully Soma will update it, but you can still do all of these things in HomeKit, which I'll talk a little bit later on about. But while in the main you'll use the app to control the smart blinds, or if you're using a home assistant, then you may use voice or their app. But one of the things that's really frustrating, once you've got these installed, you can't manually operate them. So if the battery goes or something doesn't work, then you can't move them up or down manually using your hands. You have to physically remove the box from the wall and operate them then. So that's not useful. And then moving on to a related point, there's no remote. So unlike some other smart blinds, you get a remote. Again, this would have been useful, especially as I put this in a guest bedroom to test out. It would mean that you have to set up everyone on the smart app when they visit your homes. But if you had a remote, it'd make it really easy. So how do they perform in terms of noise and speed? Well, in terms of speed, they're very slow. Very slow indeed when you compare them to the smart blinds. In fact, when I was testing them out, it took 1 minute and 17 seconds to lower them and 1 minute 21 seconds to open them, and that's for a 123 centimeter drop. Just compare that to the IKEA smart blinds that took only 17 seconds for the same setting. I also found them very noisy, so much so when I was in another room I could still hear them, and this could bother some people, especially if people were operating them at night and people were already asleep or early in the morning. I think they could wake people up that were light sleepers. However, despite the slow speeds and the noisiness, I never had a problem operating them. The app worked first time. It never disconnected. It never had a problem connecting, both when I was using it with the Soma Connect and when I was using it independently over Bluetooth. So Soma have done a good job getting the connectivity sorted. Now moving on to HomeKit and how they work in HomeKit. As I've already said, they're not officially supported, but it works really well. And like I've already said, so much so, and those people that are familiar with HomeKit are familiar with the no response message that you get in some apps. Throughout the month of testing these, I never got a no response in the HomeKit app. And that, for me, is pretty impressive given it's not officially supported device. It also works with Siri, so you can do voice commands. And again, it worked first time when using them. You also can use the Home app to lower the blinds and close them. Now, you also can set desired lengths, and you also can use the automation settings. So app, but within the HomeKit app, you can use the sunrise and sunset settings in order to set them based on the sunset and sunrise times, obviously. Now, the conclusion of this review, and to give a very open review of these, and to be totally honest, I'll do the good and the bad points. Let's start with the good points. If you've got a pair of blinds that you want to turn smart, this is a good option. You can connect them really simply, and they're very easy to set up. They also work with all three smart home platforms, Google, Alexa, and HomeKit. And I've had no problems with HomeKit. I did briefly test them with Google Home, and again, no problems with them. I've had no connectivity issues. They work really well, whereas some smart home products, you sometimes connectivity issues or things don't work as planned. So real kudos to Soma for sorting the connectivity issues and the user experience out. Now, in terms of the bad points, they are pretty expensive for what they are. They're £129 or $120 just for the Soma Smart Blind module itself. You can actually get a IKEA Smart Blind, which is the full blind unit, including the cover, for that price. The added fact as well, you can't operate them manually. So if anything does happen, you have to take everything off the wall. And you also don't get a remote. So if you've got visitors, it's not going to be a great experience of having to add people to the app every time someone visits your home. Now, with all things that I review on this channel, I do either keep them in the house or I continue using them depending on what I need them for. And the big question is, will I be keeping them? And the simple answer is no. I've already taken them down. I've actually replaced them with an IKEA smart blind in that particular room. And I've already flashed the Soma Connect because it's Raspberry Pi with Home Assistant, and I've started to mess around with that. So I won't be continuing to use these. Now, this is of my personal preference, and you've got to make the decision whether these are the right things for you. Despite all the limitations of being slow and expensive, these might fit your bill, but only you can decide if these are the right things for you based on the information in this review. After all, it's you that's buying them, and my personal preferences might not be the same as yours. Guys, thanks very much for watching this video. It's been greatly appreciated. If you've liked it, give it a thumbs up. And also, don't forget to leave a comment if you've got a question, as I will get back to you. And also, don't forget to subscribe and check out the channel. There's some great videos on smart home and wearables that you can check out. So thank you very much. I'll speak to you soon.